Shalom, Sister Kate here. This video is going to be about what I think a fully mature woman should know how to do. And this is completely my opinion, and I'm just going to share it with you. And if you have, you agree or disagree, you can comment. So, first thing is, clean up messes. And I'm sure you guys are out there thinking, what? What does that mean? Now, I'm serious. Like, if she's a fully mature woman, and it could be any age, I'm talking about anybody from 10 to 90, should be able to look at a mess and in her mind already know how she would clean that up. And along with that is organized. And I'll give you some examples of things. Like, I've walked into trailers and seen trailers, like the trailer I used to live in, complete disaster. Trash on the floor, dishes dirty, toys everywhere, papers everywhere. And in my mind, I'm already washing the dishes, organizing the papers. And when you organize papers, it's like bills versus letters versus, coupons, whatever. That's one thing. Another mess is like vomit. People throw up and people smell that and they get sick just looking at it and whatever. If you're a fully mature adult woman, you can clean up that vomit. You know how you do it. If you have a problem with, the way it smells, you already know you're going to wear something over your nose or clip your nose. You're going to wear gloves. You're going to soak it up. What do you need to soak it up? What are you going to spray it with? That sort of thing. You should be able to clean up any dirty dishes. Doesn't matter what has been eaten in those things. If they've been used to grow plants, if, somebody's changed the oil in the car, you should know how to clean that up. Dirty diapers. You should know how to change dirty diapers and do it in such a way that you do not contaminate yourself and you get the diaper person cleaned up, ready to go too. So that's number one. Number two is hostess successfully. And you may be thinking to yourself, why would she have to hostess? Well, when you're an adult female, you have to hostess things like birthday parties for your kids. You may be involved in some sort of church group and they want to have the event at your house. Your husband may have someone from work coming over, and you should be able to successfully hostess that, including inviting people, planning the event, setting up the supplies for the event, like a birthday party. I'll give the example of the birthday party. Send out the invitations. If you're gonna, if it's a theme thing and you're gonna have ponies, you have to call and get that ready. You got to make sure your yard's ready for the ponies and where are people gonna park and where are the gifts gonna be, etc., etc. So that's number two. Number three is how to care for children. And this is where I'm talking about different ages. I've seen 10 and 12-year-olds know how to deal with a 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old. And I've also seen 40-year-olds who don't know how to handle their own child, 8-year-old. And care means their health, their safety, and their mental and emotional safety and stability. All right, we're going to do the next points in a minute. All right, so in the last part of the video, we were talking about taking care of children, including emotional and physical health and stability. I think you guys get the point of that. So we're going to move on to number 4, which is cook competently. A fully mature woman knows how to cook competently. And when I say competently, I mean for any number of people, including the food being tasty, it being nutritious, her knowing the ingredients that are involved and being able to go get them, and being able to cook for, a baby with baby food or not, making it from scratch, all the way up to 50 people, for a church event. And she's got a recipe for, let's say coleslaw, but she knows that if she makes it, that many more people bigger, she can make a dish big enough for 50 people. Competent cooking also includes being able to cook different things like chili, or bake a cake, or make bread from scratch, or soup from scratch, pasta, salad, sandwiches, all the different things. And I realized as I was going through my list, I'm saying a fully mature female. This could apply to males too. You know, I don't know where your emphasis lies there. There's other things men should know how to do. But really, any experienced adult would probably know a lot of what I'm talking about, because many of the things I'm talking about being competent in come with living life, with life experience. All right, let's move on to the next, which is grow a garden. Now, on one hand, yes, you know, growing a garden's not super-duper important in an everyday life. You can go to a grocery store and get all the groceries you need or want. The thing about growing a garden becomes important in the nutrition aspects and also in the where you're living aspects, because let's pretend you're not living in suburban, you know, mid-city, middle-sized city in modern America. Let's pretend for whatever reason your job or your husband's job has said you're going to, let's say, the middle of Uzbekistan. No matter where you transplant someone, if they know how to garden, it won't matter where you put them. There is a few things to take into consideration when you're talking about a garden. One, your type of soil, and an experienced person knows the types of soil. Two, the kind of temperatures. And if you've watched our videos, you know that if you set me down in the middle of Uzbekistan, the first thing I'm going to be looking for is a source of mulch, or wood chips, or leaves, or manure, all of that as soon as I get there, because those are things very important to a garden. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. And then what seeds grow well where? If it's a warm weather climate, what are you going to plant? If it's a cooler climate, what are you going to plant? Does the climate change? What are you going to plant? Those are the kind of things I'm talking about when I mean be able to do a garden. So we've talked about at least 5 different things that I think a fully mature woman needs to be accomplished at. We're going to finish out the list. I understand this list is imperfect. I've already said you could apply it to adults in general, depending on, you know, how liberated or whatever you are. And these are skills that I've accumulated over the past 50 years. Yes, almost 55. And they have come in handy, and they are things that I have put in use, and I think a lot of people have put in use. And let's give the hostess an event task just another look. The reason I put that on there is because there are people who cannot hostess an event. There are people for whom any event with other people turns into some sort of crazy drama circus where people are drunk and loud and yelling at each other, or someone gets hit or denied, or it just becomes an ugly experience for the people involved, and I don't consider that a success. I don't think getting together at an arbitrary, let's just say 4th of July get together every year, and you know, family members get drunk and fireworks set off, things catch fire, people get hurt, and it happens every year. I don't think that's a successful event. In my book, a successful event is where people enjoy themselves, everything runs smoothly, there's no incidents, there's no police call, there's no injuries. It's just a smooth, enjoyable event. That's an example. All right, so let's move on to number 6. Number 6, I've got to look. Yeah, no, I can't remember 10 items all in a row. And I'm going to use the excuse that I had brain surgery for that. Number 6 is pay bills. Manage money. And in the old days, they would call that skill economize. That no matter the mature female, no matter what budget you give her will understand budgeting. Let's just use an example. Let's just say $300 a month. You give me $300 a month. All right, already in my mind, and I'm not using me as a perfect example. I'm just saying, you know, supposing, or any person, $300 a month. Instantaneously, your mind should be going to, what are my costs? What is the $300 going to cover? Rent, food, vehicles if you have it, insurance if you're paying for it, taxes, fees, whatever. And then knowing the amounts that those take. Let's just say, because I'm using it as an example, the rent is $50 a month. So the mature female is going to subtract the $50 for this month's rent and then have $250. Okay, what are the taxes this month? Let's just say it's $10. She's going to put that down, and then she's going to look at what the month holds, because every month is not the same. In the months of like March and April, you have Passover, and that's an extra cost. If you are homeschooling your kids, then in the fall month, maybe September, you're going to have the cost for all the school supplies that you're going to need for the year, and that's going to be in that month's budget. So managing money, managing bills and things like that, economizing for your circumstances is a mature skill, and the mature adult woman will have that skill. The next one is first aid. Now, you may be arguing with me, Sister Kate. You may be arguing with me, Sister Kate. Sister Kate, I'm not a nurse. Why do I need to know first aid? I'm not even saying you need to know first aid. I just happen to know that if you are a mature person, if you have responsibilities and you've been taking care of other people, you're going to learn first aid skills. And they're the kind of skills like how to deal with, you know, little bumps and scratches, how to put a Band-Aid on, you know, what do you put on it? You put Neosporin on most things because it's a really good all-around healing kind of cream, but I know there are people out there who use essential oils for the same thing. I've seen people use alcohol. I don't know why they would do that. It hurts so bad when you use it. But if you are responsible for people, if you have any life experience, you have, and especially if you're a parent and a mother, you know how to deal with these things because you have experience in it. Same thing with fevers. A fever for a small child can go all the way up to 104 degrees before it's considered acute. And there are different ways to deal with fevers. There's just putting them in a regular heat bathtub. It doesn't have to be cold. Just stick them in the bathtub. That brings the fever down. There are people who argue that the fever is there to kill whatever is making the child sick. That's another way to deal with a fever. Just make the child comfortable. Make sure they're eating, drinking, sleeping, etc. Fevers for older kids, 102 is kind of acute, and above for, you know, a teenager up into adulthood. How do you deal with fevers? Cold washcloths on the forehead, cool drinks to bring the fever down, etc. All the different vagaries of that. Rashes. What does a bug bite look like? How do you treat that? What does a heat rash look like? What are you going to do for that? Bruises, you know, if someone gets a pretty big bruise, there's ways to take care of it. And your life experience, you should be able to do that if you're a mature adult. And if you have any questions about these topics that I'm talking about and you want finer details, I can answer that in a comment section or perhaps do another video. All right, so after first aid, we are going to talk about paperwork, doing paperwork and taking care of paperwork. So paperwork, this applies to single women or women in a family. Paperwork includes things like your licenses, your insurances, your shot records, school records, work records, resume, all the different things, paperwork that involves you or your family. Keeping those things up to date, keeping those things in a place where you can get your hands on them if you need them. If you're a homeschooling mom, it would include what sort of paperwork your state required, and tests at the end of the year if that's required, and test results during the year if that's required, diplomas, all those different things that come with being a citizen in the United States, and also possibly being part, a marriage certificate, and all the kind of things that go along with adult life. All right, and then there's two more, and the next one is really important in my mind, and I thought about it for a while, these last 2 points. Number 9 is protecting yourself. If you're a grown woman, then you should be behaving yourself to protect yourself. For instance, you don't get drunk by yourself in strange places late at night. You don't go to places near you and around you that you have seen in newspaper reports, and you read newspapers. You look into your area, you research things. Where do crimes happen? When do crimes happen? And you stay away from them. If you're doing things by yourself, you make sure you're doing them in a safe way. Like when you go to Walmart during the daylight hours when lots of traffic is in there. Don't go to Walmart at 2 in the morning dressed, half in your pajamas and not being awake and alert to what's going on around you. Get yourself protection, get yourself a firearm, get yourself proper training. Contact the NRA and have an NRA certified class in your resume. Make sure you're fully knowledgeable about how to carry your firearm, what the laws are for your firearm in your state, how you're storing it, what you're doing if people come over to visit, how you're securing it, keeping it away from kids and people who aren't very responsible. Also, you protect your children if you have them. And we're also talking about in the home. We're also talking about in the home, that you make sure your windows are locked. Even in the summertime, you have some sort of plan for your house. Should your windows be open and you have fans on, perhaps you have some other kind of lock for the window, a bar lock or something, so it cannot be opened more. Or you have an alarm system, or you have dogs, or you just put a not a frying pan, but a pot in the windowsill, so if someone tries to come through it, they're going to knock the pot down and alert you. Or you tie a string to the window, to a pot on a table, and when they open the window and break that string, that thread makes the pot fall on the floor. Just, be knowledgeable in these different things that are required for your protection and for the protection of your home. Make sure your doors are locked. Have outside lights. Don't have decorations around the house that would allow someone to hide in the house, or not hide in it, but hide near it and then break in from their hidden location. Secure all entrances and exits to the house at night. And so this is something that a normal, responsible person would do. I'm not talking about the actions of someone who's totally paranoid. I'm talking about everyday life. I hope that makes sense. And then to round it all up, my 10th point is how to make a home. And these other 9 things roll together into the 10th. Safety, security, health, nutrition, budgeting, economy, tastefulness, enjoyability, all these things are wrapped up in the house, the home that this woman can make. She can clean up messes. She can take care of the occupants inside. She can invite people into her home and be able to make sure that they have an enjoyable time. She doesn't ever risk her home by risky behaviors like bouncing checks, not being able to pay her bills. She does not invite people into the home that would cause disturbances. She does not allow disturbances to happen within her home. She has everything on an even keel, and so if you go there, you're welcome, you're going to be taken care of, and when you leave, you're going to think of the experience with a happy memory. And I've left out the most important thing, and that's for her to have faith. She should have a relationship with her Lord and Savior, understand it, be in prayer and be studying the Word so that she is knowledgeable and able to counsel people and talk to them about her beliefs. And I hope these made sense, and I thank you for watching. Bless you, and I look forward to your comments. Shalom! If you liked the video, please share it with your friends. In the little box somewhere around here will be a link to my channel. That's what you can share. I would appreciate that. Also, somewhere in a little box up here will be a video related to the one you just watched, in case you want to see another one like it. And a recommendation for another channel that I think may be useful to you if you found my video useful to you. I appreciate my subscribers a whole lot, and I really, really like comments. So please comment if you have one. No comment is too big or small or silly. Bless you all. Shalom.